There's a moment in the film where one of the kids is going up against Ruben to who can sign the alphabet quicker. And as they were doing that, I was like, A, B, C, E, F, G, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, 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 S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Apparently I need to brush up on my American Sign Language.
1, 2, 3, 4!
The sound or lack of sound in this movie is amazing. There was that moment in this film where he's standing there looking at the records, and then all of a sudden, there's no sound. Man, when that happened, I actually was like, what? Just like that? What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mr. Teach Film Preach. And if you're a lover of films like I am, and if you learn from films as much as I do, then you are in the right place. And if you feel like you're in the right place, please feel free clicking down below and subscribe to my channel. That would be wonderful, and I would so appreciate it. Go check out some of my other videos that I posted from this past week. So excited to talk about this last film today that I'm doing for the Best Picture nominees, and then it's over and Oscar season is done with. Thank God. Today, we are talking about the 2020 film Sound of Metal. It stars Riz Ahmed, Olivia Cooke, and Paul Raci. This is a film about a guy who's a drummer in a heavy metal duo band with his girlfriend when one day, Ruben, played by Riz Ahmed, his hearing goes all of a sudden. Just like that. This movie is really about the grief of him losing his hearing and the loss that he experiences and what that transition's like to going from someone who has been his whole life someone who is able to hear to now becoming deaf. He wants to get this surgery done to put in some hearing implants, and it costs a lot of money. And as he deals with his life kind of falling apart, a free fall back into possibly drugs and alcohol, and he overcame some addictions 4 years ago. He begins to spiral out of control. His girlfriend doesn't know how to handle this situation, and eventually he goes off to rehab, not for drugs and alcohol, but for his mindset around becoming deaf. It's a character study piece that is so well acted by Riz Ahmed. For me, this is his best performance he has ever done. I've been a fan of his since he was in The Night Of. He was in Star Wars, Rogue One. For me, this is my favorite performance of the 5 people who are nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role. And I think Riz Ahmed should win.
You were saying?
The amount of tragic and pain that he emotes in every single scene, and the subtlety in his performance, but also the brashness of his performance and the aggressive nature he has. Someone who has been in this life, he's been addicted to drugs, he's really struggled with his past, and he's got tattoos decked out all over him. One even says "please kill me" across his chest. He's got guns on him, suicidal in some ways, which is scary at times. You love him at times and you hate him at times, and go back and forth with how you feel about what he's doing and the things that he has to choose between. I think he's just such a great, well-rounded character. In-depth look at a man who is losing his mind in some ways and losing his hearing, and how that affects his entire life, especially someone who is addicted to music and really loved drumming and playing in the heavy metal. Someone who has to always be doing things and have noise and can't sit still. And I love that in this movie, that this is a big theme in this film, is the ability to be silent and still and sit in these moments instead of trying to be distracted by doing other things and fixing things and smoking or playing heavy music or dancing. And it's this character accepting he has lost some sort of control in his life. And the way that Riz Ahmed plays him, he's so good. He's fun at times, he's scary at times, he's relatable as hell. I think this is such a well-written character. Darius Marder, who was one of the writers of this and the director, really wrote this character so layered and complicated. He just gives a gut punch of a performance. So good. He made me cry multiple times in this movie. He won me over so many times in this movie, and I just kept going, wow, this is an actor who really knows what they're doing. So I give him 2 thumbs up for amazing performance for Ruben. Olivia Cooke was great in the movie as his girlfriend, someone who was trying to understand how to handle this situation, and then at a point where she couldn't anymore. And I really feel the love between those two. They were totally believable, and their chemistry was really sweet. It was actually one of the best emotional parts of the movie.
Okay, you're it for me, Lou. You're my heart. You're it for me. Okay, you gotta wait for me.
When she leaves to go back home and he goes off to rehab, oh, heart crushing. And when they're like saying to each other in bed, you know, you saved me, and she even says back to him, you saved my life too. Oh, it got me. And it's such a great performance by Olivia Cooke. But those two together as a couple, their dynamic was so interesting to watch and so thrilling. This could be a film that you could be very easily bored in. I was really captivated with the performances, with the great writing, but especially with the way this film was edited, the way that this film sounds. A huge technical achievement what this creative team was able to do with their editing and their sound design.
Trying to save my life.
Got to go inside the head of Ruben and see and hear, more importantly, his point of view, his perspective at times. Really get into the mindset of the character, and that makes you really sympathize. You feel stressed, you feel frustrated, just like this character is going through. This film really puts you in the shoes of that character, and that is for sure one of the highlights of this film. This film is nominated for 6 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Actor for Riz Ahmed, Best Supporting Actor by Paul Raci, who is so deserving in this. It's just too bad that he's up against Daniel Kaluuya. It's up for Best Sound, and it's up for Best Achievement in Film Editing. Incredible. I think it's going to win 2 or 3 of those awards.
And the Oscar goes to Sound of Metal.
This is one of the best uses of sound design ever seen in a film. It's just so realistic, and it really pulls your emotions in. The sound is so key and so important in this movie. Funny enough, it's called The Sound of Metal. A movie that is centered around a person going deaf, and it's over a 2-hour film, to me that sounds awful. That sounds boring. It sounds nothing like I would be interested in. But this movie actually pulled me in. There's so much going on in this movie communication-wise. It is a complex film and story to tell. Experiencing the trials and the tests that he has to go through, we all really feel it. And that's what a good filmmaker does. Get the audience to feel how the character can feel. Mostly, it was really edited very well. And if it wins Best Editing, I wouldn't be surprised.
Sound of Metal.
The ending is such a great payoff. The whole time as I was watching this film, I kept thinking, where is this ending? Where's this going? Where's this movie going? How's this gonna end? This film really needs to stick the landing of the ending in order for this movie to be exceptional. And they did, and they pulled it off, and I was so happy, and I'm so glad. And then as soon as he does what he does at near the very end of the movie, I went, oh, of course. Of course. And the payoff was just beautiful. It was an amazing moment.
That place will never abandon you.
It's in my top 3 for the Best Picture nominees, but there's a few times where I just wanted a little bit more. Him working with the kids. I wanted just a little bit more of them playing their concert and their songs at the beginning. I wanted just a little bit more of his and her relationship before he heads off to rehab. I wanted his interactions with Paul Raci a little bit more as he is trying to help him fix his mindset. I wanted to dive in just a little bit deeper into that. At times it didn't explore certain things as in depth as they could, and they were very selective about what they were doing, which is fine, and you have to take liberations like that with a movie and a script. And
We're looking for a solution to this. Not this.
I really was dreading the last 10-15 minutes because I thought, it's gonna get ruined. They're gonna ruin it. They're gonna end just kind of on a cliffhanger note, or something tragic gonna happen and that's it. I so didn't want that, and thank God they didn't go in that direction. I think I appreciate this movie so much more after I watched it and got to the end. But as the movie was happening, as the journey was going, a little confused on how I should feel at certain times. It's not something that I would probably rewatch in the near future, but it is still a great film, really interesting. It is an achievement in sound and editing, great performances. It is written extremely well. I was super into it, even if it is a little bit of a slower film. It is a beautiful, haunting, tragic, but hopeful and inspiring piece of film. Overall, I'm gonna go ahead and give Sound of Metal an A-. Yes, great film. What did you guys think of this movie? Were you enjoying Sound of Metal as much as I was? Did you think it was all right? Too slow and too downtrodden? Let me know with your comments down below. I would love to hear what you thought of this film. Please like and subscribe. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Mwah. Come back and check out some more Mr. Teach Film Preach. I have lots of other videos: Minari, Soul, Nomadland, and a bunch more. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you had a great time. Enjoy the nice, beautiful spring weather we're having. Get out there, but stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, let's get taught.